So this right here can teach you something profound about piano technique. And if you don't believe me, keep watching because I'll prove it to you. When you pretend like your hand is a little man and your second and third finger are his legs and he's just walking around, he or she, what happens when we're doing that? Well, what happens is our arm is just resting its weight on whatever surface we're on. And up here on a flat surface, and we're not pushing with our fingers. Our fingers are just going up and down, pretending like they're little legs, but they're doing what fingers do best, just going up and down like this. Our arm is resting our weight on whatever that flat surface is. The fingers are supporting that weight, and they're just kind of going up and down like this, but they're not pulling us forwards. Our arm is moving back and forth, and our fingers are just sort of supporting that weight going up and down. And we can do that on the keyboard and see what that feels like. As I'm doing this, it feels very easy in my fingers because they're just doing this. This is a very fast, efficient movement that I'd have to do for an extremely, insanely long time to even really get tired of that movement because it's so low energy. There's not a lot of energy required. Now, on the flip side, if I push with my fingers like this, the way most people think you should play the piano, if I push like this, and when I get to the bottom of the key, I keep pushing to keep that key down. So all the force is being generated right here by these small muscles in my arm, this pushing motion. If I play like that, I'm going to get tired relatively quickly. Now, it depends on what fingers I'm using. If I'm using fingers 4 and 5, I'm going to get tired really fast. If I'm using fingers 2 and 3, not quite as fast, or maybe my thumb. But the point is that we will get fatigued because fundamentally how we're putting the keys down is completely different than pretending like our hand is this little man who's just walking. Now, if we apply that same principle to playing the piano, what we'll find is it feels much easier. Try this out. Just pause the video for a second and just try it. Pretend like it's a little man. Do it first on a flat surface. So you can say, okay, this is what it feels like. I'm not trying to put the keys down. Now, do it on the keyboard. And imagine it's the same thing. And what you'll notice is it's much easier and it feels completely different in your arm and in your hand. But you might be thinking, hold on, just because it's easier and it feels different doesn't mean that it's better. And this is true. However, when it comes to playing the piano, we want to play in the most tension-free, efficient way possible. So usually if something feels better, that means that it is better. Because what we want is we want something that doesn't induce tension. It doesn't fatigue us. Well, the problem is if we're trying to generate force just right here from these knuckles, using these muscles in my arm that control this motion, and we're pushing with the fingers, what happens is those muscles get fatigued quite quickly. And this is why most people, after playing for a long time or playing a really technically challenging piece for them, they get tired and they get fatigued. They get this burning sensation in their arm. And that's because those muscles are getting fatigued. They say, I can't keep this up. And most people think that this will go away over time the more you strengthen your fingers and the more you practice. But I have a secret for you. It actually won't. And there are people who've been playing for decades and decades and decades that thought that this was true, but guess what? They still have this burning sensation in their arm after playing a long piece or practicing. And this is not the way it has to be. It doesn't matter what I'm practicing, how long I'm practicing, whether I'm preparing for a recital, whether I'm playing a recital. I never get that burning sensation in my arm. I never get fatigued like that. My hands, my fingers, my arms, my shoulders, they never feel fatigued even after practicing 4 hours straight. And that's because fundamentally the way that I'm playing and the way that I'm using my fingers is completely different. I am basically playing, pretending like my hand is a little man and these legs, my fingers are the legs, and I'm just walking around the keyboard. And when I do that, it's extremely easy because my fingers are doing what they do best. It's a very easy and efficient movement, and I'm using the natural weight of my arm to put the key down and hold the key down. It's a very easy, very efficient, very good way of playing the piano. Try this out, see what you think, and leave a comment below and let me know.